All right, everybody, we're here with Andy Baggarly, author of A Band of Misfits, about the 2010 World Champion San Francisco Giants. Bags, first of all, it's a great book. I haven't read the whole thing, but the part I read is good. Tell me about what was it like to go through this process writing this book?
Well, fast, and it had to be because anytime you're doing a book based on the World Series, you want to get it out as soon as possible, but you still want to do as thorough and complete a job as you can. So there were some books that came out immediately after the Giants won the World Series, and those were basically compilations of articles or things that have been written. And I really wanted to create a real narrative that went from through the whole season, not only took you through the games and what happened, but really sort of goes through the character arcs of all these players. And they have a history that started before 2010, and when you branch off and get into that as these guys step into their big moments throughout the season, and really tell you just how these guys all came together and what they were all about, and just how this season happened when it hadn't happened for 52 years.
Now, I imagine you can't just standing there at the parade on November 3rd go, hey, I should write a book about this. So tell me, where along the process did you start to think, hey, this could be a book?
Well, I think that the Giants' pitching was so good that you realized that they could score enough runs. They really could go all the way through, even though, in the NLCS, the Phillies were such a huge favorite. But when they took the lead in the NLCS, I was at the press box really late almost every night with Jason Stark from ESPN. And he, of course, covered the Phillies for many years. And when the Phillies won in 2008, people kept asking him, are you going to write a book? And enough people asked him that he thought, well, gosh, I'd better write a book. So he did, with Triumph Books out of Chicago. And even before the Giants had won the World Series, I'd already been in contact with them, and we kind of agreed that there was some mutual interest, and they really believed in what I was doing. Very fortunate with that, and they turned out a great cover and great people to work with, and there we have it.
Now, if you're a Giants fan, you obviously know how it ends already. What are some of the new things that you think people are going to find out about when they read this?
Everybody went and saw Titanic when it was in theaters. They knew the boat was going to sink, so I'm hoping that's not going to be a deterrent, that you know what happened. If you're someone who read the blog all year long, and you read the game stories and notebooks all year long, you probably know a lot of the stories that are in there already, but there's more detail and more background, and a few other stories that I couldn't tell through the newspaper or through the blog that are in there too, including one right off the bat in the introduction. But if you're someone who's recently become a fan of the Giants, there's no shame in jumping on the bandwagon, and you can pick up this book and read it through, and then you're totally caught up in everything that happened with this team last year, and just the histories of all these players.
Now, what was it like, the process? I mean, did you just kind of hole yourself up in a room for weeks on end, banging this thing out? I mean, what was that like?
Yeah, basically that was the case. I had to write probably an average of 10 to 15,000 words a day over the span of about 2.5 weeks.
And now, can you give the viewers for comparison, in your daily covering the Giants in one day, how many words would you write?
A game story would be about 600 to 700 words. A notebook might be about 400 words.
And then your 2,000-word blog.
And then my 2,000-word blog, right? So basically, I took that and I multiplied it by about 4 or 5, and I would have loved to have gone back and done additional interviews, but I had to write it so quickly, and I wanted to write it in a way that was kind of lyrical and when it needed to be, and I wanted it to read like a work of literature, which was hard on that time frame. But I mean, so far the response has been overwhelming. It's been terrific, really heartwarming. I've had people tell me I'm going to read this book every spring training now to remind me of that season, and people telling me that they were reading it to their kid in the hospital after he'd gotten an auto accident, and it's stuff like that really makes you feel great to have been a part of a project like this, and seeing how people are just embracing it.
Now, tell me, for you, we all kind of make fun of you because you were the big jinx, and whatever teams you covered never went to the playoffs for I don't know how many years. What was it like for you to go through and finally cover a team that not only got to the playoffs but won the World Series?
Yeah, it's true. I did start to think that a jinx. I'd covered the Angels for 2 years, and then the Dodger beat came open at the paper I was working at, and I thought, it'd be nice to see the National League parks and branch out my experience, cover a new team, and so I moved to the Dodgers in 2002, and the Angels won the World Series, and the Dodgers were not a playoff team. And then in 2004, I came up to San Francisco, and that was, of course, the year that Steve Finley hit the grand slam off Wayne Franklin, and the Dodgers eliminated the Giants, and they were division champs, and of course
I believe the Dodgers went to the playoffs 3 times at least, if I'm counting, in the years you were covering the Giants.
And the Angels a bunch of times as well. So,
yes.
And here I've covered the Giants, who were coming off a year where they'd won 100 games in 2003, and my first year in 2004, they missed the playoffs and they hadn't been back, in 7 years. So I was starting to feel like, hey, I mean, is there a reason that I can't cover a team that makes the playoffs? So this team absolutely shattered that jinx, and obviously ended the wait, a long wait for Giants fans.
All right, Bags. Well, thank you very much. And the book is available everywhere, and especially on Amazon. If you click the link on my page, I'll get like 4 cents from it. So you should do
Nice.
that. So thanks for your time, Bags, and good luck.
Yep, thanks, Jeff.